Hello, my name is Sama. Today I'll talk about the sociocultural theory and second language acquisition. Here is my outline of my presentation. First, I'll talk about the background and introduction of my topic, and then I'll introduce you with the history of sociocultural theory, and I'll introduce my thesis statement and arguments after that. In this part, I'll introduce what is second language acquisition and the background of the topic. Second language acquisition, sometimes also called second language learning, refers to learn other language after first language has been already established. Second language acquisition was identified that usually happen in school settings. For example, I am a native speaker of Mandarin. Chinese is my first language, and I start to learn English when I start to go to school. So my English learning is an example of second language acquisition. From late 19th century, the second language learner were identified as having a sharply increasing diversity, both linguistically and culturally, in which the learner brought the value from their culture and from their family to the class. And this has been identified as the biggest challenge for students and teachers since then. Recent research also emphasized these features of SLA classrooms, and SLA teachers' professional development have a greater focus on how to deal with these culturally and linguistically diverse classroom. Under this ongoing trend of increasing diversity of classroom and the learners' needs, it's important for SLA teachers to understand Vygotsky's sociocultural theory and know how to apply the theory to improve SLA curriculum design and teaching. I would like to introduce you Lev Vygotsky and the history of sociocultural theory. Vygotsky has an unrepresentable seat as the father of sociocultural theory. He is a Russian psychologist, famous for the psychological development in children and the zone of proximal development. The sociocultural theory was not originally used as a second language learning theory before establishing the relationship between first language acquisition and second language acquisition. The zone of proximal development was defined by Vygotsky in 1978 as an indicator of children's cognitive development. Zone of proximal development refers to the different learning outcomes based on the level of exposure of expert guidance and peer collaboration during the process of second language learning. Sociocultural theory took a special lens and focused on culturally diversity creates individual differences and proposed that second language learning is throughout social interaction. I'm going to argue that Vygotsky's sociocultural theory of second language acquisition through social interaction is a truer approximation of SLA than acquisition through the natural order. My first argument is zone of proximal development activated language learning could mediate language learning process, which students working in the ZPD could facilitate their language development. However, working in the ZPD is not about working by the learner's own efforts. It requires outside intervention from the teacher or parents, peers, or engagement with other useful learning resources. Sociocultural theory claimed that second language as a communication tool, so my second argument is second language teaching should focus on the meaning of the language. Sociocultural theory argued that children learn things from the surrounding culture and social interaction, which collaborative learning could effectively join student and teacher together. Students could learn from each other and learn from the teacher. The other type of collaborative learning is technology-supported language learning. Many convincing research presented that mobile learning and technology-supported teaching is beneficial for language learning. So, my last argument will be collaborative learning is facilitating second language learning. In conclusion, sociocultural theory is a widely used theory in second language acquisition and teaching. However, we should also consider the affordability and accessibility of technology-based collaborative learning. And here is my references. Thank you for listening.